Hey, dinner group leaders. Today we're going to walk through the dinner group guidelines. This is super helpful in the life of your group because this is where you're going to be able to set those ground rules so that everyone's on the same page. We're all going to start on the same place. And so I recommend you do this the first or second week of a group. If you're doing the 10-week curriculum, we're going to put it in that first week. So what's going to happen when you're in that 10-week curriculum is when the night starts, you're going to have the story cards where people are going to get to know each other better. And then you're going to watch the video together. And as it ends, our host in that video is going to walk through the show up, join in, and be real. But then this is going to give you an opportunity to help them define what that means a little bit more. And this just really helps put in some guardrails into place inside your group so that everyone, again, is on that same page. So how I like to start when I introduce this is I just bring them back to the win of a dinner group. So the win for a dinner group is to create an environment where people have the opportunity to pursue healthy relationships and spiritual growth. So within that, I will talk a little bit about, we recognize that we grow better when we are in relationship with one another, that helps. And so there's three simple things that really help strengthen a group, and it's show up, join in, and be real. And so those are the things that we want everyone to agree to. And if your group can do those three simple things, we're confident that you'll set the right foundation for a healthy group where relationships are built and spiritual growth occurs. So let's break down show up. First one is to make group a priority. So you're going to ask your group members, whether you meet at night or in the morning or whatever it is, that you make that night of the week a priority. And if that night isn't the one you're able to be the most consistent to, it's okay to find a different group. But if you're going to be a part of this group, we ask that all the group members make coming to this group a priority. Next is be present. So by being present, the best way to do that is to eliminate all the distractions. So biggest distraction that we all have, whether we're online or in person, is our phone. So if you can put it on silent, or some phones have that focus mode that you're able to sort of turn that off for a couple hours, this is going to really help you be present inside group and to hear what your other group members are saying. If you're meeting online, kill those other windows that are open. Try to stay focused just on the video that's right in front of you. And then if you're hosting a group, consider the distractions that might be present in your house. For some, this might be an animal. Sometimes animals really love to meet new people, right? They're super friendly, but they reach a point where they sort of start to become a distraction. So one of the best rules of thumbs I have on this is if it's not okay for a human to do, we don't necessarily think it's the best thing for an animal to do inside of a group. So that's a good rule of thumb. And then the last one is we want to make sure that we welcome newcomers to our group. So from time to time, you're going to have new people come into group, and that's completely normal and natural. So be considering those newcomers and be welcoming. Think about the first time that you came to group. What is that experience that you want to share with them? Okay, so let's move on to the next one, join in. So part of joining in, so we're at group, we've joined in. The best ways that we can join in is to share the ownership of the group. So as a group leader, this is the best time that you want to admit to them, listen, I can't handle this whole load myself. And trust me, even if you can, lie to them. Let them know, man, I got a lot going on at work. I'm doing a lot to make sure that group happens, and I could really use your help. That's one of the best phrases that you can tell them on first night. Hey, I could really use your help to make sure that group happens. And then think of different creative ways that they can share the ownership within the group. You can even let them know ahead of time, hey, in a future group, we're going to make sure that we kind of talk about the different roles inside of a group, and we'll each kind of take one that feels right for us. Next is that we want everyone to contribute to the conversation. You're making the effort to be here. We want to hear what you have to say. You are such a valuable part of that conversation that we're having, and we want to hear what you're thinking. Now, with contribute to conversation, we also want to make sure that we tell them that what's just as valuable as contributing is what you don't contribute. So inside what we don't contribute, we try not to talk about politics or other denominations. Some of the phrases that we use is a legalistic church or a free spirit kind of church. Use kind of like this liberal language when it comes to denominations. People will understand what you're saying. A great example of this is I was in a group once where we were in a conversation and they were talking about why they couldn't relate to someone. And at the time they were like, oh, I couldn't relate to them because they were X. And the other person was like, I couldn't relate to them because they were Y. And what they missed in that conversation is that they both had the same problem of they couldn't relate to somebody else, but they were missing it because the focus was on that denomination as opposed to on what the actual problem was. So that's just like a small example of that. Plus, we just know that when it comes to politics and church denominations, people have positive views, people have negative views, and then they become really angry and toxic, and we just want to avoid that. So we want to stick to the conversation that we're happening as best as possible. And our last one is we just want to create a safe environment. So we want this to be a place where everyone feels free to talk. And then our last one is be real. And this might be the most important one. So to review, you've shown up. Now you've joined in. Now that you've joined in, we want you to be yourself. And we hope that we've created an environment where you're able to be yourself. The best way to do that is by being authentic. Share what's really going on. It's really hard for others to know how to care best for you if you're not being real with them and being authentic. And we understand that that's going to take a little bit of time to build that trust, and that's okay. But one of the things that's really going to help out authenticity is when we can be confidential as a group. So for authenticity to occur, group members must be able to trust that the issues that are discussed inside your group aren't going to be discussed outside the group. So whatever's said in the group will be treated with the same respect and not be repeated outside the group. And then you definitely want to make sure that you highlight this inside of your group. But gossip is not going to be tolerated in any shape or form. That is the single biggest killer to any group, any relationship in general. You bring gossip into it, it's done, it's over. But we also recognize that from time to time, there's going to be disagreements. And it may not necessarily be gossip. It may just be that somebody accidentally says something that's hurtful. But one of the things that we're going to value as a group is conflict resolution. And in order to avoid gossip, we're going to seek to immediately resolve any concerns by following the principles that we see within Matthew 18:15 through 20. So really great passage to check out if you ever get there. But it helped communicate to them that, like, yes, like by being real, we're going to share some things that may be hurtful. But we're also going to make sure as a group that we try to resolve our issues when they do come up. So we hope that this is super helpful. Again, keep it simple. That whole show up, join in, be real is a great way to help them understand those concepts. Thanks, guys.